You're the person everyone turns to when something goes wrong. You have the answers. You stay calm. You figure things out. You fix it. But here's the part no one really sees. You don't always know how to fix what's happening inside you. And that creates a quiet kind of tension. Because being the one who fixes everything comes with something deeper. Think about this. Someone comes to you with a problem. They're overwhelmed, confused, emotionally stuck, and almost instantly, your mind starts working. You break it down. You see patterns. You find solutions. You know what to say, what they should do, how it could be better. And most of the time, you're right. That's what makes you valuable. That's what makes people trust you. But here's the question most people never ask you. What happens when you're the one who needs help? Pause for a second. When something feels off in your own life, do you respond the same way? Or do things feel different? Because when it's your own emotions, they don't follow logic the same way. You can't always solve them. You can't neatly organize them. You can't just fix them and move on. And that's where things start to feel frustrating. People who are good at fixing things often learn that skill for a reason. At some point, being aware helped you. Understanding situations gave you control. Seeing patterns made things predictable. Solving problems made things safer. So your mind adapted. It became efficient, analytical, reliable, not just as a skill, but as a way to navigate life. And over time, that ability became part of who you are. You became the stable one, the logical one, the one who has it together, even when you don't. Here's where it gets interesting. Fixing things gives you a sense of control. It creates clarity. It reduces uncertainty. It makes situations feel manageable. And in a world that can feel unpredictable, that matters more than you think. So your mind leans into it. Whenever something feels unclear, you try to understand it, define it, solve it, even emotions. But emotions don't always work like problems. They don't always need solutions. Sometimes they just need space. And that's a very different skill. Pause and reflect for a moment. When something hurts, do you feel it, or do you immediately try to fix it? A lot of people who fix everything struggle to sit with what they feel, because sitting with it means not having control. It means not knowing the outcome, not having a clear answer, not being able to resolve it quickly, and that can feel uncomfortable. So instead, you analyze. You think about why you feel that way, what caused it, how to make it go away. You turn emotion into something logical, something manageable, something you can fix. But here's the subtle problem. When you always try to fix your emotions, you don't always process them. You move past them. You quiet them. You make them make sense. But you don't always let them be felt. And over time, that creates a gap between what you understand and what you actually experience. This is why you might be incredibly helpful to others, but feel stuck within yourself. You can guide people through their problems. You can give clarity. You can offer direction. But when it's your own emotions, it feels harder to navigate because you can't step outside of yourself the same way. You can't observe from a distance. You're in it, and that changes everything. There's also another layer to this. People who fix everything often take responsibility for more than they should. You notice when something is off. You feel when someone is struggling. You see what could be better. And without even realizing it, you step in. You adjust. You support. You solve, even when no one asked you to. At first, this feels like strength. And in many ways, it is. You're reliable. You're capable. You make things easier for others. But over time, it can become exhausting because you're not just fixing situations. You're carrying them. And here's something subtle. When you're used to fixing things, you might start believing that your value comes from being useful, from being the one who solves, the one who helps, the one who makes things better. Pause for a second. If you weren't fixing anything, who would you be in that moment? That question can feel uncomfortable because it shifts your identity. You're not just someone who understands problems. You're someone who has learned that solving them matters. And sometimes that means you overlook your own needs. You push your own feelings aside. You delay your own processing. You stay focused on everything else. Because focusing on others feels easier than sitting with yourself. But eventually, that catches up. You might notice it as mental fatigue, or emotional numbness, or a quiet sense that something feels off, even when everything seems fine. That's not random. That's unprocessed emotion asking for attention. And here's where the shift happens. Fixing everything isn't the problem. It's an incredible skill. It helps people. It creates clarity. It brings stability. But not everything needs to be fixed. Some things need to be understood. Some things need to be felt. Some things need time. And that includes you. You don't have to solve every emotion you experience. You don't have to turn every feeling into a conclusion. You don't have to make everything make sense immediately. Sometimes, the most important thing you can do is simply stay with what you feel, without trying to change it, without trying to fix it. That's not weakness. That's awareness. Because the same mind that can fix everything also needs space to experience things. And once you understand that, something starts to shift. You still help others. You still solve problems. You still think clearly. But you also give yourself permission to not have all the answers, to feel without fixing, to sit without solving, to experience without controlling. And that balance changes everything. You're no longer just reacting through logic. You're responding with awareness. You're not avoiding emotions. You're allowing them. And that creates a different kind of strength. So if you've ever felt like you're the one who fixes everything, but struggles with your own internal world, there's nothing wrong with you. Your mind just learned that solving creates safety. And now you're learning something new, that not everything needs to be solved to be understood. And that realization might be the most important shift of all, because you're not just someone who fixes everything. You're someone who's learning when not to.